Hi, so in this video I want to talk about a lovely font that's available from dafont.com, which you can see up here on the top left, and it's called I Love Glitter. Now in the search box here over on the right hand side, if you just type I Love Glitter and click search, it should bring up the font, and it's this one here. It's MF I Love Glitter, and when you select it, it will show you that not only does this font have some lovely scripty type letters, but it also has a few extras that you can use, and I think this font would make a great font for vinyl projects with any electronic cutting machine, ScanNCut, Cricut, Silhouette, any of them. So to download it, you just click on the grey button over here on the right and download it. Now I'm a Mac user and I have covered downloading and installing fonts previously on my YouTube channel. If you go to the playlists and click on the font playlist, there's information there how to do it. If you're a Windows user, just download and install the fonts how you would do normally. And if you don't know how to do that, just go to Google and type in the search box how to download and install fonts for Windows, and information should come up. Now I've already got this downloaded. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open my font book and we'll just have a look at the letters and the characters in a little bit more detail before I go into explaining a bit more about what you're going to have to do to be able to use this font with your electronic cutter. Okay, so this is the font as it's installed on my computer, and you can see the letters all here, and then I'm just going to scroll down. You'll see there's a heart. When I hover over it, it tells me that that's an asterisk. So by using the asterisk on the keyboard, that should produce that heart. This is parentheses, so is this. This is the right, this is the left parentheses. And then you get these swirls and hearts with tails on them. And this one here is left square bracket. And this one here is right square bracket, and this is vertical line. Then you've got some uppercase letters and a few more little shapes and symbols, and you've also got some glyph characters here as well, which again I've shown how to use glyphs in a previous video, but I'm just going to keep this one simple just to show you how to make it work with your electronic cutting machine. So the ones that I want to use are the square brackets and the vertical line for now, and some letters. So I'm just going to close this down. I'm going to open ScanNCut Canvas. I've got a new blank page selected, and then what I'm going to do now is open the Brother Font Converter. And in the Brother Font Converter, a left square bracket, then I'm going to type a name, and then I'm going to make this Susan and Michael, but instead of putting and in, I'm going to use the vertical line on my keyboard. Now on your keyboard somewhere you will have square brackets and you will have a vertical line. Mine is on the same key as the /, but this is a Mac keyboard. So there's my vertical line. I'm going to type the other name and right square bracket. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to choose I Love Glitter, because as it looks at the moment, it looks a little bit odd. So here's my font, I Love Glitter, and I don't know whether you can see, but straight away I can see it's changed it. if I preview it, you'll see it's added this tail, which was the square bracket. It's added the heart, which was my vertical line, and it's added this tail onto the end, which was my right square bracket. So I'm just going to close that and I'm going to say save, and I'm going to put it on my desktop. Here's the file now. So now I'm going to come to the SVG icon, choose the file, which is on my desktop, there it is, and say OK. And it's going to bring in this Susan and Michael with the tail. Now I'm just going to zoom in here. Each one of these sections is separate. So this isn't attached. I'll just click undo. Now, if you were to try and cut this now with your ScanNCut or anything else, it would basically follow this cut line here, and it would also cut here. So you'd end up with little bits of vinyl here. So you need to weld this to get it to be one shape, if you like. Now I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Now there are several ways you could do it. You could weld this to the name, leave that bit separate, and then weld this tail to this name, or you could attach this to this. There's lots of different ways you can do it. For now, I'm just going to select the middle bit, and using the directional arrows on my keyboard, I'm going to scoot it over until it overlaps. Then I'm going to select these two and do the same, just so that I get an overlap. So now it overlaps here and it overlaps here, but we still can't weld it, because if we weld it, the middles of these letters, so the middle of the S at the top here and at the bottom, and the E and the L, the letters will disappear. So you've got to use it the same as I've shown in previous font videos with this font converter. So I'll show you what I mean. If I select all of this and go edit and weld, the middles disappear. Okay, that's not what we want. And obviously what was here has disappeared, so we're going to undo. So you have to look at all your letters that have got cutouts. So the first one in my case is the S. So I'm going to select the S, and a way of double checking if you're unsure is select your letter, right click, and if you've got an ungroup option, then it means that there's something grouped there. So if I ungroup that now, I don't know whether you can see, but as well as this blue bounding box around the outside, there's a blue box around here and a blue box around here. Now the next thing you need to do is left click anywhere on the page to deselect, and then just click somewhere on the main body of the letter, not these two bits that are going to be cut out, because usually you will find that the main body bit is on top. If I just click away, if I click on this middle bit here, now in this particular instance it's selected it and it has here, but sometimes when you click on them, like there now, I've selected that little middle bit in the middle of this small S, but it's actually chosen the whole S. So that means the main part of the S is on top. So because these two are okay, for this first letter, I'm going to left click in the middle bit there, hold my shift key down, left click in that middle bit. While I've still got the shift key held down, I'm going to left click on the main part of the S, and now I'm going to go right click and subtract. And that's punched those middle sections now out of the S. Now on this one, I'm going to click in this small inner section of this S. I'm going to right click, ungroup, left click anywhere to deselect, and then I'm going to click on it again. And again, this time it's chosen the center bit. I'm going to click on that and it has again. But sometimes you'll find that it just selects the outside edge. So again, I'm going to click the middle bit, hold the shift key down, click the middle bit, and then click the S. While all three are selected, I'm going to hit subtract. So now the A is okay because there's an open line there, so there's nothing that needs doing. I'm going to move over to the M. Again, I'm going to right click and ungroup. Now this time I've clicked in here and it's selected the whole of the letter, so I'm going to right click and choose send to back. Then I'm going to left click to deselect and click this little bit again, because these smaller bits need to be punched out of this letter and they need to be on top to do it. So with that selected, I'm going to hold my shift key down, come to this other little centre bit and select that, and then select the letter and go right click, subtract. And then I'm going to do the same with the H. So I've clicked in the middle here and it's selected the whole of the letter. I'm going to right click and ungroup, left click to deselect, left click again now on this middle bit, and you'll see I clicked on that black line there, but it's selected the whole of the H. So that means that H is on top of there. So select the H, right click, send to back. Now again, just left click anywhere to deselect and click in that middle bit and it will now select it. So hold my shift key down, left click on the H and then right click and subtract. And then you just need to work your way along. You don't need to do it with the A because there's a break in the A, so that means that this isn't a separate middle section. So I'm going to come to the E, select it, right click, ungroup, deselect, click on the middle bit again, and again it's selected the whole of the E, so I need to send that to the back, deselect, select that middle bit again, now it's on top, hold the shift key down, select the E, right click and subtract. I know it seems a bit of a faff, but once you get to know what you're doing, you can easily and quickly do this. So we're on the last letter now. So left click on the L, right click to ungroup it. This time it's selected this inner bit, so that must be on top. So hold the shift key down, select the main body of the L, right click and subtract. Now I'm just going to try and zoom out a bit. So now this time I'm going to select everything and I'm going to come to edit and weld, and all the middles of the letters should stay, but something odd's happening here, so I'm going to unclick, I'm going to undo and just zoom in on here. So I'm just going to move this a little bit. Now I'm going to zoom back out, select everything, and you can either do right click and weld, or you can go edit and weld. It doesn't matter which. Now this time, just by moving this tail ever so slightly, if I zoom in, it's welded it. And when we look along, you'll see now that all these tails that link to the letters all weld together. So the blade on your cutter will come around here and it will follow all this around, all around the outside edge, and then it will go back and cut your middle bits, or it may cut your middle bits first depending on which order it does it. But this is all welded, this is welded to this, and it will cut these middle bits out for you. So I'll just come back to matte. So that's what you have to do to use the I Love Glitter font. But as I've said, it's not just this font. Other fonts behave similar to this when you're using the Brother ScanNCut font type converter. And as I said at the beginning, if you go to the font playlist on my channel, you'll see I have covered this. But I just wanted to show it with this font because these are so small, these pieces, that you could quite easily miss them, and then you'd be trying to weld your words or something together and you'd be wondering why it's not working. So from a square bracket, and a vertical line and another square bracket and some text, we've got potentially this lovely cutting file that can be used in any way you like. This would be nice if you used it in one of those name plaques where you type the last name and then put this in. I think I might do that in another video and show you how to do it, because you've got to follow this process before you can create your offset to then cut into your Word. So I hope you found that helpful. Please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't already do so, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.